all of this started with me wanting to be a rapper. That was the first thing I wanted to do, and I was always a content creator because I had got a camcorder when I was real young, and I started filming things, filming my family, filming myself, rapping, and doing things with my friends. And it got to the point where I even would put together videos and show them to my class, and that was the only way of creating video content at that time. So I've been creating content as long as I can remember. I started writing raps when I was like 10 years old, and what made me start writing raps was just the influence of being able to express myself through words. It started off really as I guess it was more poetry than rap. I was just kind of writing stories, and eventually when I learned about what rap was, that's when these stories turned into raps. Rapping, it was something that I did. It was something that just always came natural to me. So rapping was what I chose to use to express myself. That was the content that I chose to express myself. And I was influenced by rappers at the time. Master P, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas. So it's like I seen what they were able to do and the spotlight that they were able to get, and I felt like I wanted to be on that type of stage or that type of platform to be able to get my message out there, because it's always been about my message. It's always been about what I want to say, more so than just making music people can dance to. Because the way I was introduced to hip hop, that's what hip hop was, a means of expression. Hip hop was a means of telling the story. It was a means of giving perspective. So it wasn't about promoting negativity. But I watched hip hop become something different than what it was meant to be, than what it started as. I mean, it started as something organic. It started as something for the people. But once it became commercialized, it turned into a tool for powerful people to be able to influence the masses in whatever way they want to influence them. And it's not always to the benefit of the masses. You know, it's not always with the best interest of the masses in mind. And rap was being used to promote negativity, basically. So in my mind as an artist, I wanted to represent hip hop and what it actually was meant for. And in order to do that, you have to have freedom of expression. You have to be able to talk about whatever you believe in. You got to be able to talk about the things that you stand for. You can't basically be told what to say. And the industry does not allow certain types of artists to get in that are talking about certain things. Like, you got to be in a certain frequency to be considered mainstream, or to be considered for the mainstream when it comes to rap and hip hop, because rap and hip hop is so influential in our community that it's the reason why a lot of trends get started. It's the reason why a lot of styles even become popular. So it's a powerful thing, and I feel like the power of that influence, it has to be used in an appropriate way. So it's like, even with me making this video, I'm trying not to go too deep, but I think for the people who have gone deep, they feel where I'm coming from as far as the agenda of the industry. But I like to operate independent of that agenda. And I talk about what my agenda is. Basically, entrepreneurship, freedom, those are things that I value. So those are the things that I talk about. That's something that I represent. I want everyone to have the opportunity to have freedom. I want everyone to have the opportunity to have their own business and to be themselves and find out, what it is in them that they need to bring out to the world to help people build their businesses. That's part of what I do. And at the same time, I run my business, and music is my means of expression. That's my favorite way to express myself, is to sit down and record or write or rap or whatever I do. If I'm in the studio, I usually just get in front of the microphone, play the beat, I feel the beat, and then kind of just go in from there. But So it's not as much about the writing no more. It's more like just about the therapy of putting songs together in the studio and being able to express myself through those type of words. So that's what I like to do, and that's where the passion came in for the rapping. I'm trying to make a change. I'm trying to represent something different. I'm trying to represent independence and freedom and being able to do your own thing in this world without, having to sell out, or as they say, and or without having to give in to the system and whatnot. So I mean, there's a lot of that we can talk about. Like, I can go deeper on all that, but for the most part, that was kind of what it is. That's kind of like the basis of where my passion for music comes in and for rapping. All right, so I took my passion for rap and my desire to be an entrepreneur and be my own boss, and I kind of put that together, and we started a business called Phenomenal Entertainment. We started this business a long time ago, like when I was in middle school. So we just came together, and as kids, man, we started recording music and putting it out there. Recording our CDs, putting music on CDs, getting out there and selling them. Like, that was the concept. We was making music and selling our music. So we was producing and marketing our music. You know what I mean? That was the basics of Phenomenal Entertainment, how it started. Me and J-Rock, we was pressing music and getting out here, selling them, performing, selling CDs. That's what we did all through middle school, high school, and at the end of high school was when I ended up signing a record deal with Tape Music Group my senior year. So I flew out to Oklahoma, recorded the album, and it released through Tape Music Group. That was my first solo album called Phenom, and that was my first experience really with a label and a contract and production, professional studio. All that was my first time actually going through all that. So I learned a lot from that process. It taught me a lot about the music game and how record labels work. So since I was in college at the same time that album came out, I didn't have any of the resources in place that I needed to actually promote the album, and I thought the label would do more for me, since they had the budget, and that's what I read in the contract, that they was going to spend a certain amount of money on marketing my album. But that didn't happen the way that I thought it was going to happen. So that album didn't end up going very far. So it ended up just being one of those things to where I had to kind of just walk away from that situation because I didn't sell enough units to record another album with them. So I just kind of had to walk away from that situation and take the smallest royalty check that you could ever imagine. But it was a learning experience, and that's what made me want to actually start my own entertainment company. And it kind of started off as a record label or whatnot, but I just kind of took Phenomenal Entertainment, and after I got out of that deal in 2009, that's when I started my own company, and I decided that I was going to build, at that moment, that's when I decided that I was going to build something that would give me all the infrastructure that I needed to be the artist. So everything that a label was supposed to offer me, everything that a label was supposed to bring me or like level me up, whatever a label was supposed to do, I wanted to create the entity that could do all that plus some, and at the same time be independent and not force artists to have to go against their values. I wanted to build an entity that could promote artists and positivity, and we have a positive agenda of like making a positive impact on the world. And just from me being a genuine person that actually wants to bring good to the world, starting a record company and like being a leader of it, like that's monumental in itself, just because there's so much corruption in the world that having an entertainment company that was trying to promote positivity, that would be revolutionary. So that was the goal when I incorporated Phenomenal Entertainment in 2009. That was just the goal, to create something that was larger than myself. Me, myself as an artist, could utilize to take my career to the next level. And not only me, myself as an artist, but also be able to pave the way for other artists. So that's how it came together. I was still in college when we incorporated Phenomenal Entertainment, and we just put together this plan and we executed it. I mean, it was kind of the same plan that I had when I very first started, because I started off with a business plan that was a multimedia conglomerate. It was a plan that was designed to be a huge entertainment company from the time that it started. But we literally started from recording music, putting it on CDs, performing and selling CDs, and later I signed a deal, went through that experience, and then got out the deal, then started my own company, or incorporated the company, and kind of used everything I learned from all that experience, from going to school, going to college, business college in retail business management. Then I got my master's degree online at Full Sail in entertainment business. So just piling up all of those credentials and experiences and knowledge, and using everything to take my business to the next level. So from there, just kept grinding. Working with people, I've worked with lots of artists, done hundreds of shows, had all types of artists in the studio, all across the Midwest and even further, regional, national, taking it overseas with the things we're doing, spreading the brand and having an established brand, and really creating a lot of infrastructure in my area and like around the Midwest, as far as setting the standards for what is going on. Everything from like the showcases to the way artists have been influenced to make music and record and studio sessions and studio time. That whole culture, particularly in northern Indiana, but our influence has spread even further than that. And we've touched artists and venues in a lot of different places. So that's what the work has been, just to build that infrastructure. So throughout the time, what do we have? PHE Live, which is our touring and promotional company under the Phenomenal Entertainment umbrella. We have PHE Recording Group, that's production and the publishing. And then we have PHE Marketing, which handles all things marketing, content creation, consultations, everything you need on that aspect. So that is everything that an independent artist needs in order to actually thrive and move independently. And that's what I've created, full in-house entertainment company, to where if you're an artist or creator, you can come to us and everything you need is there. And all I'm doing now is running myself through the process of utilizing everything that we've created over the years, utilizing all the resources, all the connections, all the venues and everything that we've put together, the whole network, this whole network we've created. All we're doing now is just utilizing it and showing the process of how it works, and to show everybody that we're not just talking, we're not just trying to say that we know the best way to go about this, or just we guess that we can help you. No, this is not the case. What we're talking about, it's what works. It's the way to go about it. If you're trying to build a brand and you're trying to build a business, there's a certain way you should go about it. And if you go through the process correctly, you'll almost guarantee yourself success. And I can't just tell you that. I have to show you, right? I got to put myself through the process so you can see what it is. And once we get through it, that's when you can come to us for the process. But guess what? Everything you need to go through the process is already there. So the only thing left to do is to show how the process works. Ownership is the only way to go. We want you to be an owner, okay? Ownership is what you want. From the creator standpoint, whether you're talking about ownership of your music, ownership of your content, or like a business, when you're starting a business, you want ownership of your business. You want to have ownership of your brand. You want to create something that you have ownership of. That's the way you want to do it. You want to maintain ownership. And stay independent is the way that you maintain ownership. And because ownership is really how you build a legacy, because that's the idea of ownership, is something that you keep forever, something that you can pass on even after you're gone. So with what I'm doing now as an artist, I am making a statement. With this album that we're dropping, Big Business 2, this is the second installment of the Big Business series. The first Big Business is out now, and that was a whole different era. And now we're at another level of Big Business, to where we are showing you that we got the process. The first Big Business might have been more of, we're showing you that we're working on the process. But this second Big Business, this is We're showing you that we know the process, and we're actually gonna show you that it works. We're laying it out, and we're gonna show you that this process works in real time. So watch the movement, follow the movement, and you'll see where we're gonna go at it. You can say it's 0 to 100 because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're just now tapping in with the movement and you see me at a 0. That's okay, because that's really the whole point. I want you to see me at a 0 because I want to show everyone what it takes to go from 0 to 100. That's what matters. Being able to go from 0 to 100. Being able to go from 0 fans to 100 fans, from 100 fans to 1,000 fans. And that's what we're doing with this big business. That's why it's a campaign. I'm starting with 1 fan at a time. I just need a group of supporters. The whole idea behind big business is just to get a group of supporters that are down with the movement, and I can provide that value. There's a lot of value that I can provide, but I'm building this community of people that's plugged in to what I'm talking about, plugged in to the things that I believe in and relate to the things I relate to. And when we come together, it's gonna be phenomenal. That's the whole point. But it's not about me by myself. It's about me bringing people together, like-minded people that want to take over, that actually want to take over. So that's what we doing, man. We taking over, but we can't do it alone. Nobody can do it alone. So that's why I'm building a community. I'm getting out here. I'm putting myself out here. That way you can understand like where I'm really coming from. And I only want people that actually rock with me to tap in. And that's why I got to put myself out there in this way, because I need to know that the people that's rocking me is rocking with me. Matter of fact, I need to know that's one of the songs on Big Business too. This is real. I need to know. Is you gonna ride for me? You gonna put it all on the line for me? Okay, so but that's that, man. That's it for the video. That's all I'm gonna do in this video right now. I appreciate y'all tuning in, tapping into me a little bit. I'm gonna start trying to do more videos like this, but I do all kind of videos. You know, I do my relationship content, relationship and dating advice. I drop videos with business advice, marketing advice, and also, you know, you'll see like live content. So I'm keeping all this going. Just stay tapped in and let me know anything else you want to hear about, anything you want me to talk about. Just leave it in the comments and I got you, you know what I'm saying? But until then, you know, Big Business 2, tap in with that until Big Business 3, and we're going to keep this rocking. So I just look forward to everybody getting with me, you know what I mean? And let me know where y'all at with it, because we going hard. Phenomenal entertainment, man. That's what we doing.